So in question number 34, it is mentioned that a loss of available energy associated with transfer of 1000 kilojoule of heat from a constant temperature system at 600 Kelvin to another at 400 Kelvin is itne kilojoule. The ambient temperature is this. Okay. So let's say it is given that T naught is equal to 300 Kelvin. Okay. So we have three temperatures given. First one is, let's say T1 is equal to 600 Kelvin. Okay. The second temperature given is T2 is equal to 400 Kelvin, and the third is T naught is equal to 300 Kelvin. Okay, let's say phi 1 is the state here. Phi 1 is the exergy function here, value here. Phi 2 is here, and phi 3 is here. Okay, so if we talk about state 1, if we want to extract the maximum amount of work, which maximum amount of useful work that we can obtain from the system, that would be our phi 1 minus phi 3. Okay. Now this, since we have extracted it to phi 1 to phi 2 only, so this phi 2 minus, and sorry, this should be phi node. Okay, so this phi 2 minus phi node energy is still inside the system which we have not extracted. Okay, so this energy, this work done will go to waste. Okay, in this question, since we have been asked that what will be the loss of available energy, so loss of available energy is also known as our what else we call it irreversibility. Okay, so irreversibility for this system, where any system is defined by maximum work done possible minus work done actual. Okay, from here we can say that on maximum work done possible will be phi 1 minus phi node. But how much work did we obtain? We obtained the work from 1 to 2 only. Okay, so from here we can say that how much we will be irreversibility will be phi 2 minus phi node. So this amount is irreversibility. We didn't recover this amount of work done. Okay, now if we substitute the value, we can get I is equal to phi 2 we write q sub qs times of 1 minus T naught by T1 minus qs times of 1 minus T naught by, okay, sorry, T naught by, this is T2. Okay, so from here we can calculate our value to be 1000 into 1 minus 3 by 4 equal to 250 kilojoule. Or there is another method, a beautiful method which we should use here. So you can use Gauss-Seidel theorem. So Gauss-Seidel theorem told us that irreversibility is equal to T naught times of delta S total. Now if we can calculate total change in entropy, so we can calculate our irreversibility. Okay, so here we will calculate our total change in entropy. So we know, let's say that T naught is 300, it is given as 300. Okay, or let me write it as T naught only, T naught times of, now delta S total, we can write it as delta S for both, let me write it here. Okay, so delta S for 600. Okay, delta X for 600 Kelvin body is equal to, so this Q amount is rejected from here, so we can write it minus 1000 upon 600. Similarly, delta S for, if we want to write for 400 Kelvin, I can write it as 1000 upon 400. This would be 2.5. Okay, and here I can write it as 5 by 3. Okay, minus 5 by 3. Okay, now if I want to calculate the whole thing, so I can write T naught is equal to 300 into delta S is equal to minus 5 by 3 plus 2.5. Okay, so if we solve this equation, we will get our 250 kilojoule. Okay, so this is our irreversibility. Now moving to question number 35. Moving to question number 35, it is mentioned that a steady flow process from state 1 to state 2, H1 is equal to given, H2 given, S is given, the ambient temperature is given, then the change in availability. Okay, so we know that change in availability can be find using the exergy function. So you can directly write is equal to h1 minus t node s1 minus h2 minus h2 minus t node h2. Okay, now if we substitute all the values, so we get h1 is given as 400 minus h2 is given as 100, so we get 300 minus t node value is given as 300 into delta s s1 minus h2 here, s1 minus h2 is given as 0.4. okay, so we get answer to be 300 minus 120 is equal to 180 kilojoule per kg. Okay, so this is our answer for question number 35. Now if we proceed to question number 36, in question number 36 it is given that one side of the wall is maintained at 400 Kelvin and other side is, so there is a wall, let's say that this side is at 400 Kelvin, this side is at, let's say T1 is equal to, or T outside, let's say it T outside is equal to 400 Kelvin and T inside is equal to 300 Kelvin. The rate of heat transfer through the wall is 1000 watt. Okay, so let's say there is 1000 watt is the heat transfer, Q dot is equal to 1000 watt. Assuming the surrounding to be, we have T node is equal to 25 degrees Celsius, which is equal to 298 Kelvin. Okay, assuming no heat generation in the wall, the irreversibility due to heat transfer to the wall. Okay, so if we write entropy equation, we can write that h dot 1 plus h dot generation is equal to h dot e. Okay, or we can directly consider this as a system. So let's say this is a system. Okay, so if this is system, so we can calculate delta s is equal to like 400 1000 kilowatt of 1000 watt it is covering, so delta s dot is equal to 1000 by 400 minus 1000 leaving, so 1000 upon 300. Okay, so from here we get 2.5 minus 10 by 3. Okay, so from here, and this is our delta s total. Okay, so here we can say that if we calculate both the values, we will get this, and on solving this we will get, okay, so we get this value is minus 0.833. okay, now we can calculate irreversibility is equal to T naught into delta S total is equal to 300 into or we can do it in this way also, like consider the S1 entropy to be entering plus S generation is generating inside S dot of course is equal to S dot exit. Okay, so from here we can calculate S gen is equal to S dot E minus S dot I. Okay, so whenever it is like a system, there is an entry and exit, you should use this type of equation. Okay, we should calculate S generation. Okay, so S generation exit is 1000 by 300 minus 1000 by 400, and this will be equal to 0.833. okay, now we can calculate irreversibility is equal to T node into S dot generation. Okay, so we calculate 298 into 0.833. So we get the total irreversibility is equal to 248.33 watt. Okay, so this amount of irreversibility will be generated through the wall. Okay, now moving to next question. Now moving to question number 37, it is mentioned that a solid aluminum sphere of diameter, itna diameter, initially at 200 degrees Celsius is allowed to cool to ambient temperature of 25 degrees Celsius. The density of aluminum is this, and the specific heat is this. Determine the irreversibility. Okay, so irreversibility is always like you can directly use I is equal to T naught into delta S total. Since it is a single system, okay, and the state of the system will change, so we will use delta S total, and this delta S total can be calculated by for an like same finite mass, so we can calculate the MC ln T2 by T1, okay, is equal to M. Mass is given as, okay, mass is not given, so we can calculate mass by using mass is equal to rho into volume, density into volume. Okay, density is given as 2700 into volume is given by 5/6 into d cube. D cube is 0.1 cube. Okay, so we can calculate the the mass to be is equal to 1.41 kg. Okay, this is mass. Now if we apply MC ln T2 by T1, we will put all the values. Mass is 1.41, C is given to be 0.9 into ln times of T2 is here is 25 degrees Celsius, that is 298 Kelvin, and T1 is 200 degrees Celsius, that is 273 Kelvin. Okay, and on solving this we will get our value of S total is equal to minus one thing I missed here. So here there are two parts. A solid aluminum sphere is cooled to the ambient temperature. Okay, so since it is cooled, so like this is not, this is won't be, this is of the system. Okay, there will be effect on surrounding also. Okay, so the system entropy will be, we will get is equal to minus 0.588 kilojoule per kg, kilojoule per Kelvin. Okay, now if we calculate delta S for surrounding, we can directly use it the term Q by T and T node here, because the surrounding is at temperature. Okay, so this ambient is also, that is T2. Okay, equal to T2. Okay, so Q is equal to MC into, now the net heat transfer will be T1 minus T2. Okay, divided by T2. Okay, so if we substitute values, T1 is equal to 430.73 and T2 is equal to 298, then again 298, so we get the value of this entropy change to be 0.746. so if we calculate delta S total, so total change in entropy we get is system plus surrounding, and the value which we will obtain is equal to 0.158 kilojoule per Kelvin. This is also in kilojoule per Kelvin. Okay, now if we want to obtain irreversibility is equal to T naught delta S total, so we can multiply both terms. T naught, we know that it is the ambient temperature, that is 25 degrees Celsius, which is 298 Kelvin. Okay, now we will obtain the value to be 47.1 kilojoule. Okay, so this is our answer. Next, moving to question number 38. Okay, so if we start question number 38, okay, air is flowing steadily in an insulated pipe. The pressure and temperature at station A and B are given below. Establish the direction of the air, which assumes Cp is equal to this. Okay, so I already told you that the direction of a flow or a process is obtained by I mean spontaneity. Okay, so this spontaneity is like the entropy of the system. So it is defined as there's a entropy of a total entropy must be always be greater than equal to 0. Okay, so we would try to establish this relation, and since it is the open flow, so we can say that S generation should be always greater than equal to 0. Okay, so we will calculate for both point what should the S generation. Okay, so let's say this is our system. So this is state A, this is state B. Okay, so Ta is equal to 50 degrees Celsius, will be equal to Ta is equal to 323 Kelvin. Okay, and Pa is given as 130 kilopascal. Okay, Tb is equal to 13 degrees Celsius, which will be converted to 286 Kelvin. Okay, and Pb is equal to 100 kilopascal is given. Okay, now if we okay, there is one more thing. It is mentioned that the total insulated. Okay, the system is insulated. Okay, now the question is given, establish the direction of the flow. Okay, so we are given with the value of Cp is equal to 1.005. So logically what should happen? Logically, if we see, so we can see that logically Pa is greater than Pb. If we see Pa is greater than Pb, so we will say that flow is from A to B. Okay, but like we haven't considered the terms sorry so here we haven't considered the combined effect of enthalpy and pressure. Okay, we have just considered the flow to be A to B on basis of pressure only. Okay, now if let's say that pressure also might be from like if the effect of pressure and enthalpy is combined is higher on B, so the pressure might be from B to A. Okay, so so we can calculate the flow direction using our by calculating the total S generation. Okay, so for this system we can say that S at A plus S generation is equal to S at B. And why is this? Because there is system is insulated and assuming that it is at steady state. Okay, now we can write S generation is if a system flows from A to B. Okay, we have considered that if the flow is from A to B, we have considered it. Okay, if we are considering flow from A to B, so SA plus S generation is equal to SB. So S generation is equal to SB minus SA. Okay, now if we calculate the difference in entropy, so we know for ideal gas this can be calculated as Cp ln Tb by Ta minus R ln Pb by Pa. Okay, now if we substitute all the values here, so let me calculate the answer. So we obtained this value by substituting all the values here to be minus 0.046 or 047 kilojoule per kg per Kelvin. Sorry. Okay, but we can see that this for an if I say that for a system for spontaneity the S generation must be greater than equal to 0, but here since it is less than equal to 0, so we can say that our assumptions which is from flow is A to B is incorrect. So the flow must be from B to A. Okay, with that we will be moving to next question. Okay, next question is this is next question, so we will start discussing this question here. So question number 39, it is mentioned that the adiabatic cylinder at of 10 meter cube volume is divided into two compartments A and B each with volume 6 centimeter cube and 4 meter cube. Okay, so this is an adiabatic cylinder. Okay, now what we have done here, in this cylinder, two compartments, it is divided into two compartment. Let's say this is the partition. Okay, so this volume is 6 meter cube, this is 4 meter cube. Okay, a thin shield sliding partition initially by the thin sliding partition initially, the compartment A is filled with the air at 6 bar. This was at air at 6 bar. Okay, and 600 Kelvin. While there is vacuum in the vacuum here. Okay, vacuum. Okay, in the compartment B. So let's say this is compartment A, this is our compartment B. Okay, suddenly the partition is removed and the fluid in compartment A suddenly expands freely. Calculate the irreversibility in the process in kilojoule. Take the atmospheric pressure to be as 1 bar and atmospheric temperature as we have been given value of P naught is equal to 1 bar and T naught is equal to 300 Kelvin. So in this process we can tell that the process is an unrestrained expansion. Okay, so for gases we can, or air, we can say that delta S is defined by Cp ln T2 by T1 minus, or sorry, Cv ln T2 by T1 plus R ln V2 by V1. But since it is against case of unrestrained expansion, restrained or free expansion, so in this case what will happen, T1 is equal to T2. Okay, so this term will be 0. Okay, so we get our delta S to be R ln V2 by V1, which can be like calculated as R times value of R can be taken as 0.287. Okay, and here it should be M times of Cv and M type of times of R, so there should be M here. Okay, now from ideal gas equation we can find M is equal to PV by RT, and this E will be equal to P1 V1 by RT1. We can calculate it from here. Okay, so M into R we can write it as P1 V1 by T1. So P1 is our 6 bar, that is 600 kilopascal, into V1 is 6 meter cube upon T1. T1 is 600 Kelvin. Okay, times ln V2. V2 is total volume 6 plus 4, that is 10, and V1 is initial volume, that is 6. Okay, now if we calculate the values here, so we get this value of delta S to be 3.065 okay kilojoule per Kelvin. Okay, now if you have to find the irreversibility in the process, it is mentioned the irreversibility in the process. So irreversibility is equal to T naught times of delta S total. Okay, now we can write it T naught times of delta S of system plus delta S of surrounding. Okay, now this is for system actually. Okay, this is for system. Okay, now for surrounding it is equal to 0 because the cylinder is adiabatic. Okay, so we can calculate it as 300 into 3.065 is equal to 300 is equal to 919.48 kilojoule. Okay, so this is the answer for question number 39 here. We have solved it, and we will be moving to question number 40. Okay, now in question number 40 it is mentioned that the maximum useful work per kg of the air that can be obtained in the piston cylinder arrangement. Okay, it's a piston cylinder arrangement. The air expands from initial state like P1 is equal to 9 bar, T1 is equal to 400 Kelvin, and final state P2 is equal to 1.5 bar and T2 is equal to 300 Kelvin. Assuming the pressure to be atmospheric pressure to be 1 bar and atmospheric temperature to be 288 Kelvin. Now it is mentioned find the maximum work done per kg of the gas. Okay, so we have defined the exergy function for this as U minus T node S plus P node V. So okay, so since we have to calculate the between 1 and 2, what is the maximum work that we can obtain between point 1 and 2, so we can write phi 1 minus phi 2 is equal to u1 minus u2 minus t naught times of, sorry, plus, okay, minus times of t naught s1 minus s2, okay, plus p naught times of v1 minus v2. Okay, so using this equation we can calculate all the values here. Okay, now now what we can do, so we can like, okay, so you know that this is system. Okay, so system moves from this state to this state. Okay, so here I can say, so if we substitute all the values here, so let's calculate. There are three parts, okay, to this solution. We will do all the parts one by one. So let's first calculate u1 minus u2. So u1 minus u2, since we are calculating per kg, we can take m is equal to 1. Okay, so this will be our cv dt. Okay, so it is mentioned here, so we will write it as cv into t1 minus t2. Okay, so we know the value of cv is equal to 0.718. okay, into t1 minus t2. T1 is 400, t2 is 300, so difference is 100. So we get u1 minus u2 is equal to 71.8 kilojoule per kg. Okay, now if we talk about s1 minus s2, s1 minus s2 we can calculate by using like since it is a gas, we can use this formula Cp ln T2 by T1 minus R ln P2 by P1. Okay, so if we calculate these values, so Cp is our 1. So T2 is our 300 divided by 400 ln into Cp. Cp is our 1.005. Okay, now we have to subtract R 0.287 into P2 by P1. P2 by P1 is 1.5 divided by 9. Okay, ln. Okay, so we get the value of S1 minus S2 will be 0.2255. Okay, again kilojoule per kg. Okay, and value of V1 minus V2 if you have to calculate, so we can use the ideal gas equation PV is equal to MRT. So from there we can get V1 is equal to RT1 by P1 minus RT2 by P2. From here we can find its value to be T1 by P1. T1 is 400 divided by 900. Okay, minus T2 is 300 divided by 150. Okay, now we have to multiply it by R 0.287. Okay, divided by 0.257 into 0.287. So we get this value of V1 minus V2 to be 0.446. Okay, this, okay, so this was kg per kg Kelvin. Okay, and this will be in meters cube. Okay, now meter cube per kg, of course. Okay, now if we substitute all the values here, so we will get here 71.8 minus T naught is given to be 288 into S1 minus S2 is 0.2255 plus we know the value of P naught, which is equal to P naught is equal to 1 bar, that is 100 kilopascal, into our V1 minus V2, that is equal to minus 0.446. Okay, now if we solve this equation, we will get into 100 minus 288 into 0.2255. okay, plus 71.8. okay, Okay, so say here's I did something incorrect. So S1 minus S2 should be, this should be like, so I what I've calculated here is S2 minus S1. Okay, so you have, if I have to calculate here, so this term would term to be positive. Okay, so on solving this now, we will get 288 into 0.2255, okay, plus 71.8 minus 44.6. Okay, so we get the value of 51 minus 52 is equal to, so we get the value to be 92.14, okay, kilojoule per kg. Okay, so this should be our answer. This should be maximum work done per kg. Okay, now this term which we have calculated here is our maximum useful work. Okay, maximum useful work. Now in question it is asked about what is the maximum work. Okay, so if I have to calculate the maximum work, we will directly like find maximum work. We can directly like oscillate this term. Okay, so we will be, it will be u1 minus u2, okay, minus t naught into s1 minus s2. Okay, this is the maximum work. And okay, and for useful work we will subtract the value of minus p naught into v2 minus v1, v1 minus v2 or okay. So from here we will get our value to be if we like add 44.6 to the 44.6 to the existing answer, we get answer to be 136.74 kilojoule per kg. Okay, so you should have keep this in mind. Okay, like this term is maximum work, and this here phi is used to define maximum useful work. Okay, so moving to next question. So next we will be doing this question. Let's say this question number A. Okay, or let's say this question number 1. Okay, so we will doing question number 1. So two rigid tanks, each filled with 50 kg of air, having initial temperature at 900 Kelvin and 300 Kelvin. Okay, heat engine placed between two tanks extract heat from high temperature to produce work and reject heat to the lower temperature tank. Okay, so there are two rigid tanks. Rigid tanks mean constant volume. Okay, so between these tanks heat engine is attached. Okay, so let's say that here it is our heat engine. Okay, so if this is our heat engine, it is mentioned that m is equal to 50 kg. Okay, and having initial temperature T1 is equal to 900 Kelvin. Here also mass is 50 kg. T1 is equal to 300 Kelvin. Okay, and since the engine is placed between the two tanks to extract the heat from the high temperature and produce some work. Okay, let's say W is the work produced, and reject heat to the low temperature tank. Find the maximum work obtained from the tank till both reaches the equilibrium. Okay, now from here we can so since it is mentioned to find the maximum work, so we can use like assume the system to be reversible. So if system is reversible, then we can say del q by t is equal to 0. Okay, let's say q1 heat is from here, q2 it is here. Okay, so from here we can see that q1 heat, let's say t1 to tf it reaches, and this reaches from t2 to tf. Okay, now for this we can write like q1 is rejecting from the heat, so we can write it as minus mc tf minus t1 by t at a particular temperature. Let's say this is a okay, so this won't be happening at a particular temperature. Okay, so this is a system with constant volume, or this is the so we, for a finite mass system, we can write the del q by del t, or we can also here write that del s of universe is equal to 0. So del s of 1 plus delta s of 2 plus delta S of engine is equal to 0. So since engine is reversible though, so this value will be 0. If we say delta S1 and delta S2, we can calculate it by MC ln TF by T1, okay, plus we will write for system 2 also MC ln, it will also reach temperature TF initially at T1 is equal to 0. So from here we will get our TF is equal to square root of T1 T2, okay. From here we can calculate work done is equal to Q1 minus Q2, okay, and these values can be written as MC times of, we have done previous calculation, okay, root T1 minus root T2 square, okay. So after substituting the values here, we will get, since our T1 value is equal to 900 root minus T2 is 300 root, total square into mass is 50 and C is given to be, okay. So since both like it is mentioned that 50 kg of air, okay, so the value of Cp for air is 1.005, okay. So we get the value of work to be, sorry, they shouldn't be Cp, it should be Cv. And why it is Cv? Because the like 2 liter containers have constant volume, okay, so it is assumed to be Cv into 0.718, okay. So if we multiply by Cv, we will get our answer to be 5771.63 kilojoule, okay. Now we will move into next question. Let's say this is question number 2. So in question number 2, it is said that 100 kg of block of iron casting at 500 Kelvin is thrown into large lake. Okay, so iron block casting is thrown into a large lake. So let's say this is a large lake and we have dropped an iron casting of 100 kg at 500 Kelvin, okay, and the temperature of the lake is T0 is equal to 285 Kelvin, okay. The iron block eventually is thermal equilibrium with the lake water, assuming the specific heat of weakness for the iron, determine the entropy generation during the process, okay. So for entropy generation, we can say that delta S total is equal to delta S, or we can consider it in system plus delta S surrounding, okay. So when this metal block is dropped in the like lake, so we can treat it as like a metal block is exchanging heat with its surrounding, okay. And then this 500 Kelvin will be, let's say this T1 is equal to 500, we can get this T1 will be transmitted to T2 T node, okay. And up till that point the entropy will keep on changing, okay. So we can calculate delta S total equal to delta S of system is, let's say that this metal block is system, so MC, so delta of the system is given by MC ln of T final is T node by T1, okay, plus of surrounding, it can be written as the heat transfer, okay, Q divided by T node, okay. Now we can calculate the value, like we have been provided with the value of, okay, first let's calculate the value of Q is equal to MC delta T is T1 minus T node, okay. Let's calculate how much amount of heat is released first, okay. So M is given as 100 into Cp is given at 0.545 into delta T, T1 minus T node is given by 500 minus 285, okay. So we get the Q value to be 9675 kilojoule. Okay, so using this value we can like first write it here, 100 into 0.45 ln 285 upon 500 plus 9675 divided by T naught is equal to 285. Okay, so after we solve this, 285 plus 45 into 285 divided by 500, this ln. Okay, so we get the value of delta S total. Okay, so delta S total to be 8.65 kilojoule per Kelvin. Okay, so this is correct answer. Okay, we get the correct answer. And similarly, now we will move to next question. Okay, so let's start with question number 3. So let's say this is question number 3. A 250 meter cube rigid tank contains compressed air at 1 megapascal and 300 Kelvin. So we have a rigid tank, and the volume of this rigid tank is 250 meter cube. It contains compressed air at P1 is equal to 1 megapascal and T1 is equal to 300 Kelvin. The environment conditions are: environment P naught is equal to 100 kilopascal and T naught is equal to 300 Kelvin. Okay, find the maximum useful work that can be obtained from this air. Okay, so to obtain the work from let's say the from a closed system, we can directly use our function, exergy function is equal to U minus T naught S plus P naught V. And since there is no external work due to the surrounding, so we will consider this equal to 0, and we can write it as equal to U minus T naught S. Okay, from here we can write it as so for maximum useful work we can do phi 1 minus phi node. We will be calculating U1 minus U node minus T node times of S1 minus S node. Okay, when we write the equations, we can write it as MCV T1 minus T node, okay, minus T node times of S1 minus S2. We can write it as CV ln, or we can write it as so let's write in terms of CP ln T2 by T1 minus R ln, so not T2 by T1 here, it should be T1 by T naught minus R ln P1 by P naught. Okay, so from here we can see that T1 is equal to T naught, so this term will be 0, and from here we can obtain like this also should be 0 because T1 by T naught is equal to 1, so ln of this 1 is equal to 0. So we get phi 1 minus phi naught is equal to R T naught ln P1 by P naught. Okay, so from here we can get R is equal to 0.287 into T naught is equal to 300 into ln of P1 by P1 is 1000 kilopascal upon 100 kilopascal is 10. Okay, so if we solve these values, okay, one more thing I forgot here, like MCP and this M are delta T, and here will be M, okay, into mass. Now if we want to calculate mass, we can calculate mass of the system is equal to P1 V1 by RT1. Okay, so we know the value of P1. P1 is our 1000 kilopascal, V is 250, R is equal to 2.87, and T1 is equal to 300. So by solving this, we get our mass flow rate to be 2903.6 kg. Mass is equal to this, and we substituting this value, we get our phi 1 minus phi naught value to be So here I made an incorrect judgment. So this P node V should be considered here, because why? It is because we have to like consider the, okay, so we have to consider, give me a minute. Okay, so we have to consider this value because the, like, it is the work from the system to the surrounding. Okay, and when this work is done, this work is done by surrounding on the system when the pressure is assumed to be atmospheric. Okay, now we can say here this add, so we get as P node into V1 minus V node, okay, plus V node into V1 minus V node. Okay, now we know that B1 is equal to this. If we want to like calculate the value of P node, so we can get V node, so we can calculate. Okay, let me arrange a few more things here. Delete. Okay, so we can write it like P node into V1. V1 we know that is 250 minus V node. For V node we can again use ideal gas equation. So for V node we can calculate V node by MR T node by P node. Okay, we know all the values. Okay, we know the value of M, we have already calculated it. So let me mention values here. Plus P node is given as 100 into 250 minus MRT node. Okay, so mass is 2903.6 into R value is 0.287 into T node value is 300. Okay, divided by P node. P node is given as 100. Okay, now we get the value of this value is 2499 or 2500, we can say it. Okay, 2500 meter cube. Okay, so when we solve these values, minus 250 into 100, and this term is negative. Okay, plus M is given at 2903.6 into 0.287 into 0.287 divided by 0.257. Okay, so and this will be multiplied by 300 multiplied by 10 ln. Okay, so we get value of 5 1 minus 5 node as 350.65 megajoule. Okay, so we have obtained the given answer, so our answer is correct. Okay, so you should remember that we don't need to like as earlier I also thought that this work should be P node V should be like neglected, but later in further steps I found that this step cannot be neglected, because this is the work done from the surrounding on the system when the pressure is considered to be of the system is considered to be has been equal to that of system. Although system may not achieve that point, but it is considered that the system has reached that point. Okay, so okay, you should get this now. So although the system didn't reach the point of thermodynamic equilibrium with the surrounding, but we have to consider that the system has reached the state P node and T node. Okay, at a certain volume of V node. Only then can we find the maximum useful work. Okay, so I think we are done with these questions. Next we will move to question number 4. So the question number 4 here, it is mentioning that the steam flow through a adiabatic steady flow turbine. Okay, so let's say this is a turbine hour. Okay, so the enthalpy at the entrance and exit are given. Let's say this is 1, this is 2. Here we have been given H1 is equal to 4142, this is kilojoule per kg. Okay, and exit H2 is given by 2500. Okay, the value of flow availability of the steam at entrance and exit. Okay, so we have given it as a 5 value. Phi 1 is equal to 1850. Okay, and phi 2 is equal to 140. respectively. If the dead state temperature, we have given that T naught is equal to 300 Kelvin. Then for the given change in the state stream, the change in entropy of the steam. Okay, so delta S is equal to, what will be delta S? Okay, we have to calculate this. Okay, now we can write that for this is an open system. For open system, we can write phi 1 minus phi 2 is equal to H minus, okay, H1 minus T node S1 minus H2 minus T node S2. Okay, so from here we can substitute the values. 1850 minus 140 is equal to H1 value is 4142 minus H2 value is 2500 minus T naught times of S1 minus S2. Okay, so we will substitute, do 1850 minus 140, okay, minus 4142 minus 2500, okay, sorry, plus 2500. Okay, so we get 68. So we get T node into S1 minus S2 is equal to minus 68. Okay, so if we want to calculate S2 minus S1 is equal, that is delta S, we can write it as 68 upon T node, and T node value is 300 divided by 300. So we get this value is equal to 0.2267 kilojoule per kg Kelvin. Okay. Okay, now moving to next question. Next we will be moving to this question. So in this question it is asked that a reversible thermodynamic cycle containing only three processes. Okay, so the system will contain only three processes, and producing work is to be constructed. Okay, the constraint are there which must be one external process, so there must be three processes. It is mentioned three processes must be there, and one of them is isothermal. The second process that is mentioned to be is isentropic. Okay, isothermal. Second, they must be isentropic. Third, the maximum and minimum cycle pressure and clearance volume are fixed. Okay, okay. So we will like say see what's in the next step. Polytropic processes, forces, polytropic processes are not allowed. Okay, so it means that for third process we have two options: isochoric or isobaric, that is constant volume or constant pressure cycles. Okay, so let's draw a TS diagram. In case of TS diagram, we know that okay, now if they are asked how many cycles are possible. Okay, like then how many possible cycles can be drawn. Okay, so you can like directly write that since there are four available options, and we have to like use three properties, so we can calculate it using 4C3, but this will be incorrect. Sorry, okay, or you can say that either there are three processes, three type of processes, so we have to like how to arrange these three, so you can directly do 3 factorial is equal to 6, and you say that for each cycle there are 6 and total 12 cycles are possible. So this is also incorrect, because like every combination won't be feasible. Okay, let me explain in detail in the graph. Okay, so let's consider, and first, and like we have been provided with isothermal process. Let's say this is an isothermal process. Okay, now this is an isentropic process. Now let's say this is an if we are considering a constant volume only, let's say this is constant volume process. Okay, so you can consider this process to be a cyclic process. Okay, and this will be also be an work producing. Okay, if we consider the cycle to be clockwise. Okay, we have considered all the points. Okay, and we have drawn the cycle. Okay, next what we can do, let me draw it in the same diagram only. Okay, Okay, so let me draw it here only. So this is the first diagram. Okay, now if we consider constant volume only, okay, we are considering this constant volume process only. So this is the first diagram. The second diagram, let me, like, this is a isothermal. In previous lecture I have told you that the constant, like all the processing have should have slope of greater than equal to 0 on our TS curve. Okay, so constant pressure curve or constant volume curve should also be like this way. No curve on the TS curve like this, like with this. Okay, this type curve is only possible on on the PV curve. Okay, so moving on, if we consider next, so let's say this isothermal process. Okay, and then there is isentropic process. Okay, now, okay, my mistake, let's say there is an isentropic process. Okay, let's say there is and then isothermal process. Okay, and then after that there is an constant volume process. Okay, this is the possible graph second. Okay, now if we, so after drawing these two cycles with volume, constant volume processes, you will see that there isn't any other option available. Like if you draw, let's say, constant temperature and constant isentropic, then the constant pressure volume pressure should be like this, which is not possible. Okay, so there are only two types of processes which can be used in case of constant volume, and similarly also in constant pressure process also only these two will be eligible. Okay, P is equal to constant and P is equal to constant. Okay, so there are total of 4 cycles which are possible. So, okay, how many possible cycles can be drawn? 4. Show them on PV and TS diagram. This I have shown them on TS diagram. To show them on PV diagram, let's draw PV diagram. Okay, so PV diagram we can draw like one pressure is, this is constant volume pressure. So let's say that this is one of the process 1. Okay, now let's say this is constant volume, and it should be like this. One, two, and the third process is constant pressure. So it, let's say, so it should be like this one. This is okay, and the fourth process should be again the constant pressure process, and these two processes will be like this. Okay, so this is our fourth process. Okay, so these 4 processes are the only possible 3 process cycle which can be drawn on TS and PV diagram, with one process being isothermal, second being isothermal, isentropic, and third being either isochoric or isobaric. Okay, next, moving to next question. Next question is air at an inlet temperature and volume of 300 Kelvin and 0.02 meter cube is contained in a piston cylinder assembly as shown in the figure. Okay, heat is added to the air and it expands slowly. Okay, so heat is supplied to the air. Okay, and it expands slowly before occupying a final volume of 0.03 meter cube. Okay, find the area of piston is 0.02 meter square and the spring constant is 10 kN per meter. The atmospheric pressure may be assumed to be 100 kilopascal. Find the final pressure of the air, the specific entropy change of the air from the initial to final state. Okay, so what we can do here, since this is a system, so what we can do, we can like create a force balance equation. So let's say this is a piston, or let's say since this is the piston. Okay, so here the pressure acting inside, let's say that we will draw a PV diagram for this. Okay, for the process. Okay, so PV diagram, initial we know the initial location to be 1, which is 0.002 meter cube, and having the pressure of initial temperature volume we have been given. So let's say this pressure is P1. Okay, this pressure is P1, and if we look for location 1, there is no spring force. Okay, and there is only an outside like state 1. Okay, initial state. So we can see that there is only a force P node A, and inside we have pressure P1 A. Okay, so from this we can say that our P1 is equal to P node. So this value must be equal to 100 kilopascal. Okay, 100 kilopascal. Okay, now we can see this is mentioned that after the heat is applied, the our like volume is increased to 0.003 meter cube. And let's consider the piston again. If we consider the piston again, we can consider the forces here. So let's say this is P2A. Okay, here it is P node A, and again it is K into X. Okay, now we can write P node A plus Kx is equal to P2A. Okay, so if how can we do it now? Now let's P node is mentioned to be 100, A node is A is mentioned to be 0.02 plus K is mentioned to be 10 kilonewton per meter. Okay, and how much X is the X that is mentioned? So that will be X is equal to delta V upon A. Okay, so delta V is equal to 0.001 upon A is equal to 0.002, sorry, or 0.02. 0.02 is equal to P2 into 0.02. Okay, now if we solve the equation from here, we will get P2 is equal to 125 kilopascal, which is our first part, which is asked here. Okay, and the answer came out to be correct. Okay, it mentioned the final pressure of the air, so we can calculate the final pressure 125, which is higher than the pressure P1. So our process will be like this, from process 1 to process 2, at where P2 is equal to 125 kilopascal. Okay, now it mentions what is the change in entropy. So how can we calculate the change in entropy of the system? Okay, so let's first find that since we okay, so change in state entropy. So S delta S given by S2 minus S1 is given the entropy change from air from the initial to final. So we write it as this, and we can write it in the form of, we can write change in entropy as Cp ln V2 by V1 plus Cv ln P2 by P1. Okay, now if we substitute the values here, we will get 1.005 times ln V2 by V1. So at 2 volume is 0.03, so this will be 3 by 2. Okay, plus Cv is 0.718 into ln times of P2 by P1. P2 is our 1.25, P1 is 100, so we get 1.25. Now if we solve these values, we will get 3 by 2, sorry, 3 divided by 2, 1.5 times ln of 1.5 into 1.005 plus 0.718 into 1.25 ln. Okay, so we get the value of delta S is equal to 0.5677 kilojoule per kg Kelvin. Okay, so we have completed our question session 5. this will be the final question on the concept of entropy and exergy principle and exergy. So at this point we have completed most of the questions which I can do in this current session, and we will be done with now we will be done with this question session 4. Okay, now from next lesson we will start with chapter 9, that is properties of pure substances, and after that we will held the question Q&A session, the questions answers for that chapter also. Okay, so thank you for today.